Hey guys, Nary here from Drakewing Gaming. Some of you know me on Twitter, The Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming at you another Let's Play episode of Changeling Tales. So, this shall be episode 3 of Grace's Path. Some people are speculating that the Hat Girl is actually Grace, but her hair color is different. The Hat Girl's hair color is more orange than red, so, Anyway, I guess we shall see. It seems she has mysteriously disappeared as well. Quite the woman of mystery. Count me intrigued. Alright, let's do it. Let me just, get my, see if I can dredge up my Scottish accent. Be begging your pardon, lad. What girl? She was right here just a moment ago. I gaze across into the pool of market-goers, and while I don't see the girls hat-bobbing among them, I do spot a few recognizable faces. A golden blonde with oval glasses stands out in the crowd. I believe it to be my childhood teacher, although she doesn't look a day older than I remember. The cheesemonger, on the other hand, is just as old as I remember. His grizzled hands are barely strong enough to cut the wheel, and his eyebrows are so long I can't even fathom how he sees. And there is the withered boy hawking newspapers out of a woven basket. He has grown from a tiny young one into a sickly-looking boy. Poor lad. I'm hesitant to approach any of these folk from years past. Who's to say they know who I am anymore? I dare say I hardly know myself. Then I see a young woman, arms piled high with groceries, cloth and assorted sundries, moving through the crowd with a purpose. Her arms tremble under the weight. Instinctively, I reach out to catch a sack of flour before it hits the ground. Oh, it's Grace. Oh, I'm so sorry. Not a problem. Wouldn't want you to lose that. The teetering stack is stable again, for now. She manages to produce a smiling frown, ripe with humor, dismay, and impatience. Thanks. I usually have help on market day, but my sisters decided to make themselves scarce today. I'm struck by the freckles evenly distributed along her cheekbones. The dark green blouse she wears makes her red hair glow like the rising sun. She's grown, but her voice is unchanged. It's certainly her. It has to be. Marion? Marion MacLeod? As soon as the question leaves my mouth, I fear I may have made her uncomfortable and surprised. Perhaps she does not recognize me. Noticing her inability to shake hands due to the overabundance of packages, I squirm, shake my head, and start to apologize. She straightens up, adjusts her goods, looks me dead in the eye, and extends one hand. Hi, I'm Marion. Her handshake is firm. She squints at me, perhaps because of the bright sun. Then her face breaks into a smile. Malcolm? She sighs with relief. You're home. The wind blows across the familiar face, no longer that of a girl I knew through childhood, but of the woman she's become. She steps towards me, as if to offer an embrace, but is too bogged down with groceries to do anything but stare at me, wide-eyed. Her visage is warm and youthful, but her eyes have a maturity beyond their years. Back, and still in one piece, thankfully. How are you? Your sisters? Grace and Jessie. They're still managing to make ends meet on the homestead. They're still neighbors, then. And your parents? I catch myself. I catch myself. Your father? Her mother passed away when the girls were young. I should have remembered before I spoke. Father is still away. He's overseas, serving as an officer. We're tending the place ourselves. Your hands must be quite full with that. She laughs and shifts her weight again, obviously still struggling under the load. In more ways than one. I'd better get back to my errands before I drop anything else. It's so wonderful to see you again, Malcolm. Please stop by our home anytime. All of us can catch up. It's been too long. She nods a farewell and turns back toward the fray of the market. Let's get on with the day's errands, if it gets me closer to Jessie. God, I'm even talking like that now. You too, Marion, and feel free to visit the farm any time. She's already disappeared back into the crowd. How she has changed. I stop and think, and realize how much I've changed too. None of us made it through the last few years untouched. Trying times. Despite the hustle and bustle, the vendors' stands are noticeably diminished. I get what I can and make do for the rest. Building supplies, barns, tools, a few things for the pantry, and some clothes do not smell like Grandad's closet. It all goes into the cart, much to Hazel's dismay. The sun is high, and the market is finally winding down. Some people are packing their things, about to set off for their long treks home. Others are drifting into the Stag and Nanny to top off the tank before their journey. Yep. Gonna go see the wolf girl, the wolver. I'm not too worried about leaving my things with Hazel. There's rarely been any trouble in this little town. I give Hazel a reassuring pat, then leave the sunshine for the comforts of the dark pub. While there is just as much smoke haze as last night, it's definitely quieted down some. A few men sit at the bar while a handful of vendors are gathered in the corner, playing cards. Back already? Can't get enough of the local brew, eh, lad? Aye, and I've worked up quite a thirst. A pint of the dark ale, if you please. Have a nice pint of ale. I gratefully take the heavy glass and find a quiet table to unwind. My glass is still half empty when I see her walk through the door, the flapper, still dressed to the nines in that revealing red dress. She touches base with Boguera, disappears into a back room for a moment, and soon enough is back and ready to take the stage. The Victrola crackles and a song comes on. This time it's not jazz, but a standard, a ballad about heartache and love lost. I drink silently while I watch the girl. Her shoulders move in time with the tune. She twirls in my direction, and I finally smile and wave at the dancer. She nods back, her smooth voice not missing a beat. God, it's good to be back at the Stag and Nanny, even if parts of it are nothing like I remember. Eventually, the girl's song wraps up, and she gives me a cheeky bow to her tiny audience. Before bouncing off to the bar. In no time, she's back on the floor, serving drinks to thirsty patrons. I've downed the rest of my pint. It's not long before she's caught my eye and spotted the empty glass. She walks over. Ready for another, love? I decide I can manage a second, knowing I will be home soon enough. Much obliged. The flapper sways elegantly over to the bar and returns with a glass overflowing with foam. Placing it on the table, she looks at me right in the eye. I know you. You do? I never forget the handsome face. Are you angling for another drink? Maybe. Yes. Malcolm. I extend my hand. She grasps it firmly with both her soft hands. Jessie, and I do know you. You're Malcolm McCampbell. I raise an eyebrow. Yes. Yes, that's me. Jessie MacLeod. I'm taken aback. In the woman standing before me, there's hardly anything recognizable of the mousy girl I remember from childhood. From next door? That's right. It's like she's completely transformed. She looks at me patiently. It occurs to me she probably gets this a lot. Wow, it's been a long time, eh? Completely. We stare at each other, smiling. A few seconds pass. Well, it's great to see you back home in one piece. Just returned yesterday, and yes, definitely a whole man. I smile, unaware of what to say next. The beer tastes so much better back on Scottish ground. How long has old Boguer been serving brew with entertainment? She smiles knowingly. Almost a year now. And you've been singing here the whole time? Pretty much. It's been so nice to get out and live a little. You have a beautiful voice, something I never knew about you. Oh, I'm sure there's plenty you don't know about me. Well then, you'll have to tell me. It would be nice to catch up with someone I haven't seen in so long. You can buy me another drink now if you like. Of course. I saw that wink. She lifts a finger, and out of nowhere, Bulgaria sits a gin fizz on the table. He gives me a conspiratorial wink, then disappears again. The sly old fox. That looks pretty good. Jessie sits down beside me. She sips the cocktail slower than the drink I'd seen her down so quickly last night. While I finish my beer, we talk about days past, things we remember from school, afternoon games we'd play late into the evening. Shared memories, no matter how trivial. Say, you don't happen to remember the time the circus? Jessie rolls her eyes, chuckling. So you do, eh? We stared at those flyers in town for weeks on end. It was going to be glorious, and all we got was a mustachioed man on a penny farthing. He had a name. You remember it? Of course! Wondrous Walter. She sputters mid-sip, laughing helplessly. And the monkey in the cart? Aye, little nap, no organ, no cymbals, not even a hat on the howling thing. Now wait, give Walter some credit, he had a trumpet. That he didn't know how to play. She giggles, then sighs. Your gran made us steamed pudding that evening, to cheer up our poor wee disappointed hearts. Good old gran, the treat even helped, a little. I drift further down memory lane, and the monkey reminds me of another animal tale. Let's not forget the county fair, the piglet, Jessie. Really, Malcolm, I see where you're going, and I'll set you straight right away that I don't regret it. We couldn't have been... What? I believe I was 7 or 8. So maybe I was 6? At least the county fair turned out to be more exciting than that so-called circus. I just remember you were the muddiest scamp in Scotland that day. It's hard to believe the posh woman in front of me once romped around in the muck with the rest of us. She used to be as rough and tumble as any of the boys. The piglet was rubbing all over it with soap to make her slippery. It was hardly a square go. I'll agree, it wasn't a fair fight, but for the wee piggy, not you. You chased that critter like a bat out of hell. Nothing was going to stop you. I remember your eyes squinting so hard. It's a wonder you could even see. You best believe it. There was no one who could outrun me. There still isn't. You got to keep the pig when you caught it too, right? Whatever happened to the poor thing? Enjoyed for Sunday supper? Malcolm, of course not. We never sacrificed Gladys. She still lives on the farm with us. Mind you, she's a wily nuisance, but what good woman isn't? I don't feel as though that's a question I ought to answer. These days she eats more than my sisters and me combined, but it's worth it. Right, Bogel? Talking about little Miss Gladys? Hey, that's a true Scotch lass for you. Loud, confident and insatiable, but always friendly and charming. And beautiful. To each their own, I say. I do prefer women with a little meat on their bones. I've never fallen hard for a woman with a snout. Is that why Jessie got this job instead of Gladys? Jessie balks as Bulgaria lets out a hearty laugh. Standing there next to her, it occurs to me that Bulgaria looks every bit the proud father. Nay, Malcolm, I'm just glad our Jessie finally found her true calling, and I'm happy to foster it. You were meant to be a star, Jessie. It certainly seems so. I nod, but stop short of doling out more adoration. Jessie's a woman who already knows her own beauty, and how to use it to her full advantage. I like to think I can keep her grounded, at least for one night, by not fawning over her. As Bulgaria returns to his customers, I shift the conversation to family. How about your sisters? Are they doing well? I spoke only briefly with Marion earlier today at the market. They're both fine. Marion runs the farm with father still serving overseas. They're hoping he'll be back soon, but we're also, well, let's just say I'm relieved to have my freedom without him breathing down my neck. And Grace is Grace. She stays home most of the time, or in her hiding spots. Okay, so that was Marion, okay. Hiding spots. Sometimes she'll be missing all day and well into the night. Beats me where she goes, but nobody sees her. Believe me, I've asked around. How strange. That's Grace for you. Marion and I would like to see her come into town more and explore her interests, but she says she's more comfortable at home with a book or a broom, so we let her be. She was always a quiet one. If you recall, so was I, but look at me now. I am. I certainly am. She lifts her eyebrows, then gives me a playful smile. My heart does a flip. Maybe it's just the ale kicking in, but I can't help it. She's gorgeous, and she's certainly not shy about flaunting it. We talk and drink for who knows how long. Inside the dark pub, it could be an hour or a whole afternoon. Occasionally, she'll set up to do another number or serve a few customers, but she always comes back to my table. It's even started attracting some jealous looks. Reluctantly, I'm starting to think I shouldn't overstay my welcome. Jessie is up there singing again. I don't want to go, but I've resolved to take my leave after the song is over. Her voice hangs on a final, lonely note. Well, after the music ends, what a voice, what a woman. Oh wow, it actually ends at that. Alright. Okay, alright, we're gonna save it right there. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been another interesting episode of Changeling Tale, Jessie's Path. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and ring the notification bell to the next video. I love you all. I'll see you next time. Oh, and by the way, I've hit over 4,000 hours of content watched on my channel. Thank you guys so much. Your ravenous hunger for content is helping me push up my analytics, and it's helping me. I lost my train of thought. It's helping me become a YouTube partner faster. So by the end of the year, I should probably be a YouTube partner. And we'll be monetized, baby. But that's not why I do this. I do it because I love you guys, and this genuinely helps me, you know. This helps me combat my depression issues, my anxiety. I just love doing this. It's fun. I enjoy entertaining you guys. But anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye!